Good morning. It's a great privilege for me to be speaking to you today from London while you're all in Dundalk making the novena to our dear brother, St. Gerard Majella. I just want to ask you what intention you're bringing to the novena at the moment. Are you looking for a miracle, or do those things not happen anymore? I want to tell you two short stories about miracles and St. Gerard Majella that I know of in my own life. At the bottom of our garden here in Clapham, we have the monastery here, we've got a big garden, and at the bottom is our old school. That school moved to another premises 25 years ago. So for the past 25 years, we have had a homeless centre at the bottom of our garden. And during this pandemic of COVID-19, we have been one of the few places open every day, providing food and facilities for the homeless, the vulnerable, and the most abandoned. But I was there 25 years ago when we opened it, and I remember 200 people coming for lunch, and they'd get what we could offer them, and then they'd go away, and then they'd come back again for their evening meal. And I knew that the cupboards were empty, and I was panicking. I was a young student at the time, and I was saying, what are we going to give the poor people when they come back tonight? And one of the fathers there who started the whole project, he said to me, do you not know the life of St. Gerard and the stories about him? I said, yes, I do. And he said, well, Gerard managed to trust in God, and he was always given what he needed for the poor. Just trust God. I said, this is crazy. And he said, have a cup of coffee and sit with me. And we did. We had a cup of coffee, we sat there and we waited. And I thought, this is a disaster, it's terrible. And then the phone went. There was a convent on the phone asking, did we need food? And that afternoon, 5 convents phoned us, a supermarket phoned us, offering food as well, and a photographic studio phoned us because they had been photographing an ice cream product which they would have to bin when they finished photographing it. And they said, do you want to use this ice cream? We said yes. We gathered all the food that afternoon, and then for the evening we were able to give 200 people food for the evening. It was unbelievable. And we gave them that food, which was the best of ice cream that money could buy. That was a miracle. That was most certainly a miracle. And with my own eyes, I saw it. That's one story. But there's another story. St. Gerard is popular and most famous for the stories of pregnancy and childbirth. And a lot of you are maybe making a novena now, praying for that miracle of childbirth. I have a friend, and she was my sister's best friend in school, all throughout school, and I knew her very well, so she was like a sister to me. And when she got married, she kept saying to me, Richard, please pray for the pitter-patter of tiny feet. And I said, I will. And she said that every time we met, 1 year passed, 2 years passed, still nothing. Then it turned out, they told me, they had both been for tests, and they were both told they were infertile. That was a terrible, hard thing for those two people, those wonderful people. And the only blessing, if it can be a blessing, was they couldn't blame one another. They had their own part in the story, and they both knew that. However, they were beginning to split because they were both trying to cope with their own failure, if you like. Anyway, then the phone went one day, and it was my sister, and she says, Church, I've got to tell you, she's pregnant. And every hair on the back of my neck stood up. And I said, Zoe, do you know what this day is? And she said, no. And I said, it's the feast of St. Gerard Majella, the 16th of October. Anyway, then she gave birth prematurely, and I thought, oh no, it was too good to be true. So I got into the hospital. I was the only person allowed in the hospital to see that baby, apart from our mum and dad, one of the few privileges of the Roman collar now. I got in and I baptised that baby in the little incubator, and I gave him, the mother asked me, I gave him his middle name, Gerard. Anyway, that boy is now about to finish secondary school, and that is a real wonderful miracle. And do you know that miracles don't end there, because 2 years later, she gave birth again to his little sister. So they're both doing very well, and they're wonderful people in God's story. What intention are you bringing to the novena for St. Gerard to bring to the Lord? It might be a miracle. I hope it's a miracle, because miracles do happen. Because remember, with the Lord, nothing is impossible. God bless you, and may St. Gerard Majella pray for all of us.